Welcome back to the Daily Lift. In the Christian's walk, we have a lot of battles to fight. We have battles to fight physically in this world. We have battles to fight spiritually in this world. And none of these are easy. But I have a secret for you that will make them so much easier. And we see this pattern over and over again in the scriptures. I'm only going to pull out a couple of them. But the idea that we cannot win a fight by ourselves, but God is in control and the battle belongs to the Lord. And we see this here in Exodus chapter 14, when the children of Israel are quickly approaching the Red Sea, which is a dead end for them, apparently. And we see the Egyptians that are coming after them. They are fearing for their lives. And Moses tells them in Exodus 14, starting in verse 13, Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see them again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you. You shall hold your peace." So we see here Moses, in a sense, is saying, hey, don't worry about fighting because the battle is the Lord's. We also see this in Judges. In Judges chapter 7, we see Gideon. Gideon is going against the Midianites, and they have troops of 32,000. And God says, Gideon, this is too many, because the Midianites and all the people around will say that you guys just won by your skill. So we're going to do a test. And this test removes 22,000 of them, and they are sent home. They're left with 10,000. God says, this is still too many. We're going to do a second test. Send them to drink some water, whichever ones pull up the water in their hands and drink it out of their hands, we'll select those. And he's left with 300. And even this, if we keep reading the story in Judges chapter 7, Gideon doesn't actually fight the Midianites. He causes mass confusion, and they actually turn on each other. And so we see here that it didn't matter about the number. It didn't matter about the strength, but the battle was the Lord's. And lastly, I'm going to leave us with this one. My favorite one is in 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 47. And this is when David, the young David, is standing against Goliath. And Goliath is chiding him for being so small, so youthful. And he says, pretty much, I'm going to have you for dinner tonight. And David responds with, all this assembly shall know that the Lord doesn't save man with swords and with spears. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give me into your hand. And so he will give you into my hand. So we have here this faith of David, and he understands that the battle belongs to the Lord. And so when we go out into this life, and when we are going out into those battles, we have to remember who is in control. We have to remember that the Lord roams to and fro, and he's looking out throughout the whole earth for those who he can display his strength through, and those who are loyal to him. This is found in 2 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 2, when Hanani the seer goes to Asa the king, and he explains this to him, that the battle is the Lord's. Remember Asa, you defeated the Ethiopians. You were outnumbered 2-1, and you still won. We have to go and revisit these stories in the Bible and remind ourselves and re-establish our faith that God is in control and that the battle belongs to him. And so when we are fearful, when we are anxiety ridden, when we don't think that we're going to be able to win this battle or this war, remember, hold fast, because God is already victorious. And so if we want to be on the winning side, just make sure you're on the side of God. How do we do that? We need to stay in the word. We need to know his will, and we need to do his will. And as always, go lift someone up.